Hello everyone, this is George. We're going to talk about correct posture today, how to hold your guitar correctly. Students that I've had in the past, when I was first teaching, sometimes I wouldn't put emphasis on the correct, or what is sometimes considered the classical guitar posture, and so they would have trouble reaching down their fretboard for the notes way down here. You know, they're having trouble like leaning their head way over trying to see down. Holding it classically, I've found it solves a lot of problems. It's just a lot to take in the view from here to here, so they're constantly going back and forth. Again, a big stretch down the arm if you're holding it straight out. So in the last few years, I've put more emphasis on holding it correctly. I don't harp on it too much, but you know, a little bit goes a long way in helping to solve some of the bigger issues. So this is going to be more geared for like the parents helping the students at home. Of course the kids can watch along, but I think this might help explain a lot and also help the kids go through the checklist and see if they're holding it correctly at home. Let's get started. So what I normally do, I have different ways I teach this. For guys or girls, I let them choose between using a foot block or a footstool under their foot or crossing their leg and just using their leg to hold their guitar up and tilt it. In classical guitar, we hold it at an angle like this, which helps us in going down for fast passages. It also helps us to see more clearly. Instead of our hand being, you know, way out here to the side, it's up closer and we can see better. So what I do is I sit, and I like to have my feet flat on the floor, and then either leg, it doesn't matter to me, whichever is more comfortable at the time, or for the student in particular, I'll cross over, and then put my guitar on that. I'll make sure it's tilted, bring my arm around. Of course, you never want your arm sinking in there. That's just bad posture, bad sound. There's no way you can play with any decent sound whatsoever like that. So I'll do this. I might even turn my torso at an angle, and I'll play like this. I like to sometimes call this folk style, using just the legs. So you can use your right leg, you can flip it over, use your left leg and put up. It does not matter. This depends. If you want to use a foot block or a footstool, one of the things a lot of people have at home that's really cheap is a yoga block or a Pilates block. As you can see, this one has a lot of wear and tear on it. People have been using this for quite a long time. A lot of shoes have been on this. So you can use the thicker foot blocks. The reason I like using yoga blocks is because the footstools they sell commercially are metal. They're very top heavy, and in the lessons with my kids, they're constantly falling over. We're constantly having to interrupt the lesson, reach down, readjust it, put it back up. It's super annoying. So I find these work really well. They're really light. The middle ones, they also have a tendency to pinch fingers, cause cuts, that sort of thing. These, they stay put. They're very light, easy to carry around, and it's not a big deal. So I suggest actually using one of these versus an actual commercial or made-for-purpose guitar footstool. One student I have, her dad, he actually made her a wooden one to size, and he made it adjustable with little wooden pieces on the bottom that he can just unscrew as her legs get longer and longer. And as your legs get longer and longer, a lot of times you might not need as much height, and in other cases you might need more. It just depends on how you like to hold it. So I recommend using foot block instead of spending all your money on buying, you know, the middle ones that actually don't work as well as this. If you don't have anything at home at this point, you can actually use like a couple dictionaries, stack them up. You know, it doesn't have to look perfect for you to play correctly. So you can use one of those, prop your foot up, put your guitar up, and then you're set to go. If you are going to use a foot block or a footstool instead of crossing your legs, you want to make sure that the child's knees are open, almost like you would play a cello between your knees. If your knees are closed, then the thick part of the guitar is going to have nowhere to go. This part of the guitar, you want to go between the child's legs like this. So their left leg would be through here, and their right leg would be supporting it over here, and you'd have space in the middle. Of course, if you're not using a foot block, that's not a concern because that's just going to overhang on the side. So that's with the general holding. Make sure it's always tilted though. I know some kids who use the footstool and yet they still have a tendency to hold their guitar straight. The very reason we're trying to use the footstool is to keep the guitar tilted. So try and keep it as tilted as you can. Some kids like a slight tilt, others like a more, a deeper tilt. If you like a much deeper tilt, the only way you're going to be able to get that usually is using a footstool or a foot block.